ladies and gentlemen, to the Have-Nots Big Brother podcast. I am Jason Carter, along with my good buddy Joseph Frank, and a BB super fan as well.
I'm so ready for this. You have no idea.
We've been talking about this for the last 2 weeks. We randomly texted each other. Oh man, you see Big Brother? And you're like, what? You watch Big Brother? I was like,
no, it wasn't even a text. I saw on Twitter. I was like, no way that Jason is watching BB19 right now. Sure enough, here we are a week later. What are we, 3-4 episodes into the season?
Yeah.
And we're doing the Have-Nots Big Brother podcast.
I think we just finished, the 5th episode? So you had, the Wednesday, Thursday, the two-parter.
Yep.
Started out. Then you had the Sunday, where, Cody ends up putting up half the house.
Yep.
Then you have the next night, the Wednesday night, which I thought we were getting eviction that night. Turns out it was Thursday night, so there was 5. So yeah, just got done with our 6th episode.
And we've seen 3 house guests go. We've seen 1 extra come in, and we've seen 3 go. So that is absolutely insane. The hometown kid. Our hometown, North Aurora, Cameron, couldn't make it past the first day.
Poor Cameron Hurd, man. And what exactly happened with him that first episode? Where he was just F. Because if you were actually watching the show here in North Aurora,
yep,
we had a rainstorm came in, so we actually lost 15 minutes. I have no idea what even happened. I just saw Cameron's on the block, and then he's like, oh, I'm gone.
So we did lose some of the broadcast, but during that competition, where Kevin originally takes the temptation, the $25,000 temptation, which obviously we'll get into more on the temptations here, but somebody was going to take the money. It's just going to happen the first day. So the Paul comes back in. Now somebody's got to go. So now we got to play a competition. And that competition, if you remember,
he threw it.
He threw it because he's like, I'm going to take my odds and try to be safe because I don't want to be seen as a threat right away.
And the original plan was, hey, whoever was in the next whatever has to throw it. So I think they might have been like, oh, this guy must have took the $25,000.
Yep.
Was that what happened? That's what I was feeling, but I didn't go back and watch.
Yeah, and then because we lost it, we see him on the block, and all of a sudden I see him doing a strip tease to try to get votes. That's when it came back. The broadcast came back. So we lost that portion of the show. So
for those of you watching in areas where it doesn't rain, we lost that 10 minutes. We have no idea what actually happened to Cameron, and we didn't really care enough to actually go back and look at what happened to Cameron because I thought Cameron was pretty annoying from the get-go.
I don't know. I was rooting for him. Well, he kind of reminds. He's kind of like me going into the house.
He does kind of look like you, except you're not a microbiologist.
Yeah, I'm never going to be a microbiologist. I'm not that big of a nerd in the biology sense. If he was like a sportscaster, we might have more in common. But he gone, as the great Hawk Harrelson would say.
Oh, he gone indeed. Not just him being gone. I mean, right after that, we saw Megan get put up on the block against Jillian. Well, Megan, she decided to leave.
I hate it. I couldn't hate it more than... I mean, she brags about being an interrogator in the military, and she's been working in prisons, and all of a sudden you get into a house with 15 people you don't know. They don't know anything about you. Josh attacks her, which, by the way, before Josh was even in the game, when I saw he was announced as part of this cast, immediately knew that guy was going to be kind of a tool, per se.
Right.
So,
and we'll get more about him here in a minute.
Oh yeah, and she can't handle it, and she goes to the diary room, and then poof, she's gone. So she never came back. She takes herself out of the game. I've never seen something like that in Big Brother when mentally they just couldn't handle it. Injuries are another story, but mentally you couldn't handle it. Give me a break. Stay in the game. You fight for that $500K. That's what you're here to do. You're here to win.
Yeah, 28 years old. She was in the Navy, interrogator, but her, she told everybody in the house, I'm just a dog walker.
Mm-hmm.
So she was trying to hold her hands, thinking it would come down to it, where she would eventually be like, oh yeah, here's what I've been doing.
I guess a dog walker is an easy way to get in the house because, or maybe not dog, but working with dogs, because last season, if you remember Glenn, the big dude Glenn, he was eliminated, I think, first overall.
Man, I wish Glenn would have been
He was a dog groomer. Dog groomers, dog walkers, getting in. I mean, what do I got to do to get in the house?
Glenn needs another chance. Can there be a Big Brother where it's just the first people get eliminated?
That'd be hilarious.
To the show?
That'd be hilarious.
And see how they would actually play the game.
That would be absolutely outstanding. But if you remember that competition where Greg and the team, he was on a team with Nicole, who ends up winning the season. They played that competition where you had to stay on the platform, and he couldn't get back up. It was so
sad. It was so sad.
It was so funny. If that's how you're going to go out, yep, I could have foreseen that coming. Your weight holds you back.
And then, of course, Jillian, she got voted off here recently. Her and Christmas were up on the block. I mean, talk about a tough week for Cody.
Yeah.
This guy, first off, we talk and text, daily, first off, Cody, he didn't tell anybody his game. I knew right from the get-go their alliance of the Showmances. It was him, Jessica, who he's with. Then you had Mark and Elena. Then you had Matthew and Raven. The Showmances, they're all like kind of connecting. They're like, all right, we're going to be each other's ride and dies. But Cody, being head of household, didn't talk game. He wouldn't tell anybody of his plans. He shows no emotion whatsoever. I knew right from the get-go with him, it was doomed.
I like Cody, though. I mean, I always like guys that come into the house and aren't afraid to be that competition beast and just show their real potential and win comps. Like Victor last year was that guy. He was like a cockroach. You couldn't get rid of him. He battles back in. I mean, he was
got
insane.
rid of him twice.
Yeah, they got rid of him twice. And he just keeps coming back because he's just a competition animal. And I love that. And Cody, you saw right off the bat, he won the first two competitions. He won the competition where when Paul came in to secure his safety, then the HOH. So, and then he threw the veto, which he didn't really have a chance to win anyway. But yeah, he's a guy that you really need to talk, especially early in the game. You have an alliance, you have numbers. Appease your numbers early in the game. That's how you're going to get further, and you're going to work with this alliance right away off the bat. He said, you know what? I hate Paul. I know what he's doing. He's trying to manipulate everybody. It's not going to work with me. How could he possibly know that Paul is going to have the pendant of protection from the den of temptation?
Oh my gosh.
And be safe.
The den of temptation has brought in a new element to this year's Big Brother, the season 19. I had a buddy over last week, and he was like, there are so many Bible references in Big Brother. I had no idea. I'm going to skip going to church and just watch Big Brother. But no, the Den of Temptation, it's really cool how they got the whole house, like the apples and everything that are around the house. The house looks great this year, by the way.
Except the beds. And, you know, we see the have-not room, which you expect to be kind of
ruthless. Gosh.
Spikes? I did not see that coming. And even the regular beds, to me, kind of look like, oh boy, I'm not sleeping on that. Like the angle, I don't know. It looks like half recliner, half bed to me. If you've seen that room, I think Kevin was sleeping in there. It just doesn't look like I'd be comfortable. But then again, you know, sleep apnea and all. I'm not sleeping that much anyway. So.
Right, but no. So Paul comes in, gets the Den of Temptation. I mean, of course, America was going to vote for Paul, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what America knows.
If you didn't see that coming, come on.
The guy's been preaching friendship for years now.
Yeah.
So my wife hates Paul.
What?
I'm big on. My wife didn't like him last year.
Oh.
Like last year, I was all Paulie and Paul. You know, the PP time.
Yep.
I enjoyed it, and then Paulie kind of screwed the pooch on a lot of things, which sucked because I was really pulling for Paulie to win last year.
I thought Paulie was going to win. They were going to be final two for sure. I thought there was no shot because A, they can both win competitions. Their social game is outstanding. So there's really nobody in that house that could have taken him out. And Nicole, who ends up winning, got carried through the season, hooking up with Corey, who's, again, a guy who can win comps, and everyone liked him. So they didn't want to get rid of him. So, yeah, they kind of linked up. They get through the season together. But I thought for sure Double P, P squared, Paulie, and Paul were going to make it to the end. So much friendship early on in the game between them, and it goes to sour apples towards the end. But Paul, I mean, he plays a phenomenal game, and he's just a great personality. How can you not like Paul?
I know, right? My wife's one of those guys, well, she thinks the veterans, they've had their time, so they need to get on out.
Which I agree with to an extent, but I mean, if you're going to bring somebody back, why not Paul?
Oh, yeah, the guy is on so many GIFs right now.
Oh, yeah.
Or was it GIF? It's a GIF, right?
GIF.
I don't know. Facebook has ruined the GIF for me because it's now on Facebook, and there's so many memes out there. Type in the year you're born for the GIF of your year, or type in your name for the GIF that comes. Like, oh my gosh,
it's like a hard pass.
Facebook has already ruined something once again. I don't know why we even have Facebook anymore. But no, so Paul's back, takes the temptation where he is safe for the next 3 weeks.
And he does it so stone cold. When Cody goes to throw him up for eviction, he gives a speech about how he doesn't trust him. He knows what he's doing, all that. He's not going to let him be the puppet master. And then Paul just gives the death stare at him, and then on the screen behind him.
Dude, no, once that screen hit, it was like you were like wrestling fans out there, you know, you'll understand me. It's like you're in the Royal Rumble, and that surprise entrance comes up, like you just see like Stone Cold Steve Austin. It's like Den of Temptation video hit. You're like, what in the heck is going on right now? And that's what they were. They're like, what? And Cody knew right there. Like you just saw him. Like the little emotion that Cody showed was, Paul, you're up. Oh. Like,
psych.
Instant sadness that struck Cody. So, you know, he says, hey, Christmas, guess what? You're screwed.
And
because I felt bad for putting Alex up there.
And even with Christmas, you could have easily saved yourself to an extent where you're not in the position you're in now by just throwing up Ramses, throwing up somebody else on the other side of the house. Then you still would have had Jessica, Mark, probably would have been able to get past you nominating Paul. if you put up somebody from the other side. But to put up Christmas right after and say, Christmas, you got screwed, take a seat, that just crumbles your game right there.
Oh, yeah. And then, of course, all the votes, Christmas breaks her foot.
Yep.
Thanks to riding Cowboy
Riding
with
on the
Jason.
whistle nut.
Old whistle nut there. He breaks her foot, but still trying to vote around the house.
Yeah.
How ruthless is that?
That's stone cold.
Jeez. But she was able to get the votes. I mean, you saw Mark break down in tears. He was crying. A lot of tears coming out of Mark. A lot of tears coming out of a lot of the bigger guys this season. As Josh, he has been involved in so many crying moments.
Hate it. Hate Josh. I mean, you got to be kidding me. Every time, I feel like every time I turn on the live feeds or Big Brother After Dark, what do I see? It's Josh in a room, crying softly to himself or crying to somebody. We saw it the first day he broke down in bed. He was talking to Christmas. And Christmas is like, dude, if you can't get right mentally, you're going to have a rough summer. And then he let his emotions get the best of him in the first comp, takes the golden apple for safety, and then blows up on Megan and his whole team. He's like, you know why I had to do this? Everybody's gunning for me. Nobody's gunning for you, dude.
Yeah, nobody was gunning for him. He's just like, I got to take this apple. Everybody wants me out of the house. Like, I don't know your name right now at this point. Like, I don't even think, these people know it inside the house.
They weren't gunning for you, but guess what? They're not going to forget this, and they will come for you.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the only saving grace for him, he had Megan on the team, so that's one person out. Who else was on that team?
He was. I don't remember who was on his team. I don't even think Megan was on his team. She actually asked who took the golden apple.
Oh, was she on the other team?
She was on the blue team.
Jillian
He was on
team?
yellow. Jillian was on the yellow team. Kevin, I know, was on the team next to them. That was the blue team. So I don't know who the other two people on that team were, but they were shocked. It was 2 guys, 2 girls. So it was one other girl besides Jillian, one other guy besides Josh. But immediately he pushes to go first, takes that golden apple, eliminates them from the comp, and then the rest. Cody wins the competition, obviously, against Paul as they faced off there in a rivalry that had not truly come to form yet. But as we see a week later, they hate each other.
But I think you could have told. Whenever Paul came in, he had to give out friendship roses. So it's had to been tough for him.
That's impossible.
He had to draw the lines right there. All right, here you go. And him and Cody, they showed him inside the room. Cody's just like,
it was the most awkward conversation
whatever
I've ever seen in my life.
And now you're seeing all this awkwardness. When I know they showed Paul getting in his HOH room and reading everything, Jessica wouldn't go.
Right, she went to the diary room.
And what you didn't see, actually, if you watched BB After Dark last week, after he won the contest, Cody's in there, straight face. It was a good 10 minutes that he's in there just no emotion at all. Jessica actually comes in there. She's actually in there for a lot longer than what the show made it seem like. She comes in there, her and Cody are just talking amongst themselves, whispering back and forth. No subtitles on BB After Dark, so I hate it. But don't say anything to Paul. Don't show any emotion to him. They just leave. And then the other ones are like, what the heck? But then Paul's like, hey, all right, guys, look, here's the game that I want to play. How do you guys want to do it? And I think Mark actually brought up, he's actually playing some good game right now because he was like, look, there's no reason to throw up Matt and Raven.
Yep.
At this point, we have expendable options on the other side of the house. Use them.
Very, very good game move from Mark right there. It was saying, I'm not comfortable going on the block because we're losing votes. If we want to get Cody out, we can because we have 6 people right here, 6 votes. We can get him out. We don't need to go on the block. And Paul was like, you know what? I didn't think of it like that. You're right. I shouldn't have to throw up anybody on my side. Let me go out and see if I can get a couple pawns. He talks to Alex and Josh, who both, what are you going to say? No, don't put me up because guess what? You're going to go up anyway.
And he made it seem like he was their friend, too. Paul is, this is straight Paul game right here that we saw last year. Hey, you guys are my friends, but here's my real target. I need some pawns, and in case stuff doesn't work out with me getting out Cody, I'm not losing any sleep over losing you two.
Correct.
So, he did it right with how he did it. It'll be interesting to see what happens with the power veto competition. Just looking at this, the first, how long has it been? 20 days have been in the house right at this point by now?
25 days, yeah.
First thoughts, man, on these house guests coming in. What were your impressions? Who were you I think this guy is going to be far, or I just really like him just for the hell of it?
Well, going through all the house guests as they're entering, my first 2 picks that I was like, all right, competition beasts right here, Matt and Cody. You could just see, I think they both kind of do construction stuff like that. Mark, the personal trainer, yeah, but he's so big that it could actually hinder him. We haven't seen any truly grueling endurance comps. But, those guys come in, I'm like, yeah, they're going to be the competition beast. Sure enough, Cody wins the first HOH. And then, obviously, how can you not look at Kevin and go, that is one classy dude. He's a stay-at-home dad of 7 kids. I love watching him walk around the house in just cardigan, no shirt underneath. So classy, so friendly. That's what's going to get him. He's going to go far in this game just because he might not win a single competition, but because people like him, they will just carry him through. And you know what? That's scary because the one competition that maybe he wins is a late HOH that really vaults him to the top of the board, and maybe he ends up getting top 3, top 2.
Oh, yeah, we see it time and time again really people who finish top 3, top 2, even win the thing, or guys who win one competition, like in week 11. Like, so I'm like, oh, hey, come down last 3 weeks left. Here comes this guy winning. And I told my wife this, I looked at Kevin, and right now, after seeing his game he played, he took the first $25,000. Nobody even thought it was him.
Nope.
And then he was supposed to throw the next competition. Josh got the golden apple. Kevin didn't even have to throw it.
Right.
Like, he is in the best of both situations. Nobody to this day still knows they did it. He actually voted Jillian out of the house, said, oh, no, I stuck with Christmas. Cody's like, Kevin, he didn't vote. He didn't turn
And that
votes.
puts Ramses in a bad spot because Ramses is the one that stayed true.
Yeah, Ramses is the one, the cosplayer. Are you a cosplayer? Do you know anything?
Hate it. I can't stand it. It's a weird thing. I don't want to be involved with cosplay anyway. I don't want to be around anyone that's involved. Like, and when he told the house, he's like, I do cosplay. And no one knew what cosplay was. And because Paul wasn't here yet. They were first introductions, and the house goes quiet. Just a bunch of dead stares like, what is that?
But I feel like when he told Paul I do cosplay, what that is, he was like, oh, yeah, sure thing. But, back to Kevin. This guy, fun fact about Kevin, 1986, voted Mr. Massachusetts.
I could see it. I could so see it.
I just want to see him in more suits
He's
throughout the house.
Yeah, he should be getting a, I don't know, Ralph Lauren, Polo, whatever, suit endorsement deal for Kevin because the 3-piece suit game, he's killing it.
He should walk in like Ricky Ricardo, how they used to do. I was actually at the Cubs game last week, not to get off topic right here. I was like, it'd be awesome for a Cubs throwback game is if they went like full throwback, you had to wear a suit to actually get inside the stadium.
That'd actually be fun.
That'd be cool.
You might have a problem filling the seats, but that'd be a good idea.
Oh, you can find some people to get in some suits and come watch a Cubs game.
Fun fact about suit, I bought a suit yesterday.
There you go.
Oh, it's a sick one.
Nice. But yeah, Kevin's game, I think he's going to be one of those floaters. He's going to get far in this game because he's a cool old guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's just a cool dude.
He's not
55.
A threat.
He's not a threat to anybody.
Nope.
He's good to have around the house. He tells stories. He's he used to be in the mobster game, right?
Yeah. He's got a nickname around the old town there where he's from on the East Coast, and you gotta love the accent too. Just the way he talks throughout the house. Yeah, he's a suave-looking guy. He's fun to be with. They all see that, and guys like Mark, Cody, Matt, Paul, they're gonna say, all right, I can get this guy out whenever I want because I can just go and win one HOH and get him out when the time comes. Until then, he can stay. It's
crazy that Kevin hasn't, obviously he's married, so he's not going to get a showmance, but he was on the Geraldo show and won the Hump contest.
Wow.
So Kevin, there's a lot more that meets the eye when it comes to old Kevin Schluber. Probably butchered that last name.
You probably, but I wasn't even going to try to pronounce it because there's no shot.
Yeah, so right now, Josh, he was safe. Last week, this week, up on the block with Alex, going to be an interesting POV because Paul's a comp beast.
Yeah.
He showed that last year. And it was so funny too with this head of household competition. Everybody's like, "Hey, we got to take us to Paul." Like, not even making it like.
Yeah, that was strange to me.
It was so awkward because you saw Matt and Raven were kind of throwing it to Paul underneath the table. Then here comes Elena and Mark like, "Here you go, Paul. Take my tickets. Go do your thing."
And then it cuts to Cody at the counter, and it's like Mark's like, Cody can clearly see that I'm handing tickets to Paul right here. So the line is drawn in the sand. It didn't make a lot of sense to me because. Well, who cares who wins HOH? You all have the same plan, really. Unless it's Ramses, you don't know what he's going to do, or Alex who wins, then she's probably still gunning for Cody. But so it just seems strange that they wanted to get Paul into power. And, Paul doesn't really matter because he's safe for the next 2 evictions regardless. So he can't compete in HOH next week, but guess what? He's safe
still
anyway.
Safe. Yeah, and I think at this point he's worked up such a good social game where it's like, all right, well, here's what I can do. So, when I watch Big Brother, I like to play through the players. I'm a Paul guy. I love Paul. I'm like, all right, this guy doesn't help out my game. Let's get rid of this guy. I'm sitting there playing for Paul. Why would you do that, Paul? Oh my God, no.
That's how you have to do it because one day I'm going to get the call. I'm going to go in the house and I'm going to be playing the way that I've seen the greats do it. Like Derek a few years ago. The most flawless summer of Big Brother ever played was by Derek. And you know what? He linked up with Cody on the first day. Paulie's older brother, Cody.
Right.
And they make it to final 2. And you know what? Derek not going up on the block one time. The perfect season of Big Brother. That's how you play the game. That is how you do it. You manipulate, you win counts when you need to, you have good allies. And you do not cross your allies, a la Cody in the first 2 days. Here.
So when we get on Big Brother 20, we can't let people know that we know each other
Yeah,
outside the house.
they won't
like,
see
we
this.
just be doomed. So we got to be like, hey,
we got to come in.
Ride or die.
We got to come in as rivals. First day, we have to make a scene. We have to draw a line in the sand where we hate each other. You're throwing me around the backyard. Then we have to align with different.
I can't throw you around the backyard if I get kicked out of the house.
Okay, we won't do that. We'll have an argument in the backyard. We'll fume out. We'll go to different sides of the house. You'll be aligned with one side. I'll be aligned with the other, and just slowly pick people off while keeping. And if you know what, if it gets to the end of the summer where there's 6 people left, I'm on the block or you're on the block, and one of us wins the veto. Guess what? Time to flip the table and turn and save one another, and everybody in the house will be absolutely shocked. That's how that would work. I think that's flawless.
I hope nobody watches this who's on next season's Big Brother when we're on it, because that's what's going to happen. We're going to run shop through this house. All right, so we got who our favorite character is, I guess you can say, and being Kevin, favorite guest in the house. Who is overall you think this guy, by looking at him, is going to win? Or girl. It could be a girl too.
It's not going to be a girl. Girls winning this game is rare. Like Nicole winning was a surprise to me. She plays the game well because she's seen it for so many years. But she doesn't win. She doesn't win competitions.
Right.
To win this game, you kind of have to win competitions at the right moment. Not necessarily win every week, but you have to align yourself with strong people and win the right competitions. And honestly, for me, I can see Matt being that guy who slides through the first 8 weeks or the first 6 weeks. Doesn't win that much, but he's got friends. He's got Dominique. He's got Elena. He's got Mark. He's got Paul. He's got Christmas. He's got Raven. I mean, those are a lot of people that are going to keep him safe throughout the game. So I can see Mark definitely taking this home.
You mean Matt?
Matt, sorry.
No, you said Matt earlier. I was like, oh, he stole my guy. That's my guy too.
Is he your guy?
I love Matt. This guy,
I have them both up here, and the M names, yeah, but I mean Matt, the silver-haired fox.
Oh yeah, the salt and pepper. You gotta love that.
Oh, yeah.
My wife said that'd be the one that she would hook up with actually.
Uh-oh.
Would be Matt.
So you want him to stay in the house for as long as possible.
Hey, if it keeps the libido going, right? You gotta do what you gotta do. I mean, yeah, I think Matt's definitely one of the guys who you look at. I mean, this guy could be kind of Corey was last year.
Yeah.
But I feel like he has more game than what Corey had.
He already has more game.
Yeah, Corey, he didn't have a good sense of what was actually going on in the house. He was just like, hey, me and Paul, we're cool. Or me and Paulie, we're cool. We go work out. I'm cool with Victor. I'm cool with all these guys.
I got Nicole, yeah.
Yeah, I'm dating Nicole. I don't really know what else is going on around the house. I have no idea what's going on in the game. And you saw him later on in the season when he came out with the most famous line of Big Brother 18, Mama didn't raise no bitch. And then he ends up getting voted out a week after that. But it's one of those things, you're looking at all right, that's male competition. But let's look at the female. Who out of these females, who do you think has a strong chance? I like Christmas a lot because I think she is going to be a beast at competitions if her foot gets healed. If her foot doesn't get healed, it could be an issue for her, but I think she's worked it up strong enough where her and the other girls in the house, are all kind of, on the same page. Her and Raven, I feel are good friends. Her and Elena, I feel they're good friends too. So the one wild card to me has got to be Dominique, though.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming.
There's something about I don't know. I just feel like she could play this game and manipulate people.
And just a sidebar, we didn't plan who we were going to pick for any of this. We knew we were going to ask these questions, but we didn't come in here saying, all right, you pick her and I'll pick him. So this is all off the brain here. For me, the woman that I look at, Christmas, her foot healing is going to be huge because otherwise, guess what? You can't win competitions with your foot broken.
Unless they're like they were last week, where you just crawl around on the floor.
Sliding around, yeah. No, it's Alex. I mean, Alex has already proven that she can win comps. She's smart, and she is going to tell you what she thinks at all times, whether that's good or bad. So far, it was bad because it got Cody had to put her up, and then she wins the veto. So, I mean, she's resilient, she's smart, she can win comps. So, for me, it's got to be Alex.
And she's in people's heads, too. Cody put her up last week, and 5 seconds later, Cody's like, I shouldn't have done that.
Buyer's remorse, yep.
And then he, throws the competition, and everybody's like, whoa, why'd you do that? So, I think there might be a little bit of a target on her right now just because of that. I want to see how it's going to be the next couple of weeks. If Paul, Ramses, Josh, whoever, somebody wins the power veto, all right, well, obviously Ramses wins it. You can't take anybody off the block. So
That is worst case scenario.
A huge curveball. I think, like, right now, like, he could be public enemy number 2 going into next week because of the way he played the game this week.
It was his best move for himself right now because there are way, way bigger targets than Ramses, but boy, did it throw Paul and his crew for a loop because guess what? If he wins the veto, they're screwed. There's absolutely nothing they can do. Josh is going to go home. I think it'll be Josh if Ramses wins the veto or someone else wins the veto and they don't pull anybody off. But yeah, it puts a huge kink in their plans, and they don't even know who's got the ring of replacement now because Christmas hasn't told anybody yet. Well, I think she's going to tell somebody because she's too close with those people, but who knows how she'll use that power.
So the ring of replacement, she can take somebody off of the power veto competition.
Which is huge.
Which is, great. I mean, if this week we go into it, say Cody or Jessica pull their name out, hey, guess what? I vote to take you off.
Yeah.
And then she goes in there. She doesn't have a chance if it's like, something endurance competition-wise. She's on one leg.
Yep.
So it's like, really, like, the way she has to play her game, it's that right there. Or would you hang on to it until it's later on in the year?
For me, I would hang on to it personally, but I think what she's going to do is if she's going to take out Cody and Jessica, then they would probably have 5 people in the veto who want Cody out, and you can go up to Ramses and say, listen, throw the veto, we're not going after you, we're going to backdoor Cody. And he'd be like, you know what, you're right, okay, that's perfectly fine. He'll take that risk, and then Cody will get backdoored and go home. And the thing with like taking these risks early in the game, to me, it's so smart. If you're volunteering to be pawns right now, or you're throwing yourself up on the block and you're helping people out, because later in the game, there are going to be people who do not do that, and you're going to be like, listen, I've been a pawn 3 times already this summer. You haven't been a pawn once. It's time for you to go out. The HOH is going to be like, you know what? He's right. I'm going to have to use you as a pawn. It's only fair. He's been a pawn, X number of times. So it works out if you can do it the right way, and I think that's a really smart play from people like Alex, who I think is going to go further in the game. Josh, I'm not betting on him going too far.
And the opportunities, too, as you get further in the game, are going to be a lot less to actually get taken off the block, right. Especially if you're in there with some power, competition beast.
Yep.
So I think right now, hey, you got to, if I'm in the house, Paul goes to me, I need you as a pawn, you got my back, brother. I'll be your pawn because I know who the target is.
Absolutely.
With Ramses, I might have wanted to talk to him a little bit more because that was kind of a wild card that he threw out there. If he doesn't win this contest and say Cody or Jessica do win, I think he might be the odd man out.
And I'm sure that Ramses and Paul had a discussion right after the nomination ceremony that we saw yesterday on Sunday night. I'm sure, because Paul, he was like, what do you mean, wait a minute? What do you mean? What are you standing up for? I'm the HOH. So I'm sure right after that, they had a conversation like, okay, I'm going to be back to you later in the week with what I want to do, because this is still my house. I'm still in power, and I might need you to throw the competition because I have a target, and I want to get Cody out this week. It cannot miss this shot.
I'm real interested. Once you get in the Big Brother house, how many scripts do you have to memorize?
You think that's to memorize scripts?
Well, Ramses had to get up there and give his whole spiel.
Oh,
he had to give his whole spiel, like, here's my deal, here's what I got. Paul, he just stands up like, I accepted the din of temptation. You will not put me up, you got all the whole things, like, this is the power veto contest, like, all these, like, different things that they have to, like, say, like, this is the, this is the, can't even think of the name.
Nomination ceremony?
Nomination ceremony. Put you on the block, whatever key I turn is the key. It's like, there's so many things you have to memorize in this house.
I didn't even think of that. Yeah, it just seems like it would flow so smooth, like, especially once you hear it once, you could just kind of go ad-lib on it and do it your own way if you need to.
Yeah, I guess you could. I mean, that's kind of what we've been doing for the last 30 minutes or so here on the Have Nots Big Brother podcast. So make sure you check us out. We're going to be out here weekly. You can follow me on Twitter at JasonCarter03. Follow Joe.
At Joe_Frank FRANC01.
And maybe we can get a Big Brother Facebook page, or Have Nots Podcast Facebook page or Twitter page.
Yeah, you can work on that.
I'll work on that.
All right, you work on that.
All right. Well, until next week, thank you for joining us. We'll see what happens this week. We'll be live tweets. Make sure you follow us up on Twitter.
I don't play catch up, just hope they catch on to it. Fuck all they compliments. I'm more concerned with accomplishments. I'm more like Popovich. I'm chasing brains like Sonic is. Life's a bitch, but I fuck with her. I just might fall in love with her. Dinner for 20, yeah, I got the bill like a Huxtable. Picture this. If I told you how all this would wind up, you say that's a stretch.